All right, so here I am again complaining about another technology, complaining about another post on the internet. I'm becoming a grumpy old man, but that's okay. So the other day someone posted about Go Ravel. It's a framework. It's a Go framework, Golang framework, inspired by Laravel, and that's basically a full stack sort of web framework, except the front end. But it's all about the back end, and it does all of the object relationship mapping for you. That's an ORM. We'll come back to that in a second. That's the primary point I want to touch on. And it does templating and all this other stuff for you, and can create admin backends and map classes to interfaces and so on and so forth. It's like your sort of Ruby on Rails or your Django and things like that. They're very, very powerful systems. They allow websites and companies to build things really, really quickly. But one of the things that stood out for me, and this is where I was like, man, old man shouts at cloud, is one of the things I would discard would be the use of an ORM library. In my opinion, it is better to create some simple methods for each object that implement the CRUD operations and build the SQL statements directly. I replied, have you ever done this with a complex system? So I'd love to see you do this with Azeroth Core, and I'm saying this because I've just been doing this over live streams over the last few weeks. It has 298 tables, 3 million rows, and across all of those tables, and one of the tables has 105 columns. That's the quest template table. So I'd love to see that person try to create a class and then put SQL in front of that, because I've just done that, and it's doable if you just cookie cutter create something that takes in all of that input. But you've got a class with an initializer or a function with 105 parameters to it. That's pretty crazy, and a lot of them aren't required. So you got to build a lot of default inputs around those parameters. There's a lot of work to go, and also you've got to understand how all the other tables fit in with that one, because there are no foreign key constraints, and so you're doing a lot of work in code to try and work that out. What I did instead, because I did try to do that, was I put SQLAlchemy, an ORM, in front of it. And out of the box, I immediately got the ability to query that table without writing a single line of code. I could create a quest template object, fill in the properties that I wanted, add it to the session, commit it, done. Quest appeared in the game. So I disagree. Ultimately, and this is how I finalized my comments, was tools are tools. And using the right tool at the right time is an important skill that I think that this person will need to develop, and I recommend it's a skill that you all try and develop. A little bit further down, someone pointed out that they effectively were using an ORM, and they effectively removed a statement that was being done by ActiveRecord, and they increased the query speed by a factor of 1,000, according to them, by simply rewriting them in SQL. And so I replied, so that's fine, but it was ActiveRecord that got your business to where it was in the first place. So if your business is huge, and they do state that it's a SQL-driven system that still exists today, and it's way bigger than the one that I mentioned, then it was ActiveRecord that got your business to the point where it was profitable, so that you could have a job to then optimize it later on down the line. Tools are tools. You need to use the right tool for the right job, or accept that you may have to use both. And I do say that on my comments. I said no ORM is actually stopping you from running raw SQL against the database. If it's not running as quickly as you can, you find the unit code where you're using the ORM, you take it aside, you write raw SQL via the ORM, which will handle all the session management for you. And in some cases, you can run raw SQL and then map the return to all of your objects, automatically get mappings back again, so you get all of that magic out of the box. And then you can get your 1000x optimized query for that one particular part of the application. No ORM is stopping you from doing that. And so you can't throw out the bath with the bathwater, as they say, because ultimately you optimize one or two things and then have gone, ORMs are bad. No, just that one little thing was bad, and you had to create a unique query for it, and that's fine. But it was the ORM that got your business to the point where you could even have a job in the first place. And so this job actually involves a lot of juggling. You've got to juggle engineering understanding, but you've also got to understand the market, how a business operates, how capital works, how money works, before you come forward with a solution to an engineering problem. You can't just go, this is the perfect, highly optimized thing, because you're like, yeah, that's probably going to take you 3 months. We've got 3 weeks. We've got $3 million to build this business in 1 year, not $300 million. $3 million, to build it in 1 year means that you're hiring maybe a team of 5 and taking a massive risk. And it's things like ActiveRecord, SQLAlchemy, Django, Laravel, all those things that will enable you to build that software really, really quickly. That's just good engineering. That's just common sense. That's just how the market works. That's how the job works. Sorry.